Right, an initiative called the Green Doors is being launched in Eikenhof as part of the provincial government in Gauteng's response to the fight against gender-based violence and abuse. Mahlako Komane is there. Mahlako, a very good afternoon to you. Talk us through the extent of this problem and what's being done to try and mitigate it.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Nzinga. We just heard from the MEC for Community Safety in the province, Ms. Faith Mazibuko, just telling us that they have experienced a lot of, surge in cases that are related, gender-based violence cases during the lockdown, saying that they did see the numbers increasing in terms of the cases that were reported, but also saying that they hope that initiatives such as this will help women feel more free in terms of being able to report such cases, feeling that they have the necessary support right within their communities. This is how they've structured Green Doors, to be able to, give assistance to women that experience these type of problems. They also have a program where they have GBV, gender-based violence brigaders, who give emotional support, who go and walk the extra mile with women when they have to report cases such as these to their local police stations, but not only at the reporting of cases, but also going to court and ensuring that women do not drop such cases, saying that sometimes you become ostracized, and there are issues of women feeling that they need to drop cases simply because the people that they are victimized by are breadwinners. And there are many initiatives here that ensure that women don't have to find themselves deciding that I'd rather not do this. It's a lot of work. It's emotionally taxing. But the MEC is just going to join me, and she's just going to tell us about Green Doors. I understand that this program was started in 2012. The first Green Door within the Gauteng province was opened in the year 2012, and there have been countless others. But I'm just going to speak to MEC Mazibuko and just let her tell us how far they've gone with this program and what is it that they are going to do for this financial year and years going forward. MEC, thank you so much for talking to us. I know that you did say this Green Door program started in 2010, and you have built quite a number. Are you able to tell us how many have you built? What are the future plans for initiatives such as this?
The idea of having these Green Doors within communities, it's like we call it a door of hope. Because if a woman is in an area that is very far from the police station, and a woman has to catch maybe 2 to 3 taxis for them to actually get to a police station to report a case, that also is tantamount to secondary victimization. So what happens with the existence of these Green Doors within our communities, which of course we get volunteers who volunteer and say, Mina, I'm ready and willing to help women. Others, they might have suffered the same consequence, or others just feel that in an area such as this one in Jackson, where the nearest police station is many kilometers away from here, that is when they actually offer within their yards space for us to actually come and erect this Green Door. So what it does is that when a person, a woman or a child has been sexually molested, or it's a gender-based violence case, or it's a domestic violence case, they are able to come and knock any time of the day, whether it's at night or it's during the day. They are able to come and be able to be assisted. Now, another good advantage is that the person who is manning our Green Door does have the contact details of the police station, and they quickly and urgently call the police station. The police station will then send out a car or a van to come in and deal with this case. Whilst the person is still waiting for the police, they're able to do counseling. They're also able to offer some assistance or even advice on to exactly what it is the person can actually do. What is important is that you remember the president in 2018 held a summit, a GBV summit, and out of it, as provinces, we also had to develop our response plan. Now, this is part and parcel of that response plan, especially now that we are growing more and more of these Green Doors within our communities. So it assists in making sure that there's support for victims of violence, and there is access to services. Because even after being removed from the green door, that person is taken to the Victim Empowerment Center at the police station, where all the police now have to work on that case, compile the J88 form. If they have to, if they also take a rape case, if it is a rape case, they take a rape kit and take that person to a doctor or to hospital, whichever hospital that will be closer to them, that does deal with those cases, and be able to compile thoroughly that docket, and that docket to be ready to be handed over to the DPP, the NDPP, so that then whoever has committed such a crime is actually arrested and brought to book. But what is important is to offer help. Because after this woman has actually reported, is giving services, there is also support through taking them the court processes. If they need shelter, they don't feel safe in still living in that area, they are then referred to the shelters that we have, like Yokale Temba, or some of those shelters that exist here in the province. And while staying in those shelters, they are skilled and be prepared. When the case is done, they are able to then go back to their community and continue to live their life. This is the interventions that as the Gauteng provincial government were putting in place in making sure that we take care of people that have been victimized, but over and above in ensuring that we make services to be accessible. And as part and parcel of prevention, prevention is the most that is important, because if we don't prevent GBV, then we'll see more and more of the cases coming within the system.
And also, MEC, I did hear you earlier saying that you are planning to open about 96 of these. Are you able to just briefly in a flash tell us the areas that you're targeting and the reasons why you would be targeting those particular areas? Because I understand you just don't wake up and decide today we're going to open a green door.
No, it's true. It's also based on the volunteers that will have come forward. Like next week will also be in Pramfisher. You'll recall that Pramfisher is also contributing to the high numbers of GBV in our province. Dobsonville is actually number one amongst the top 30 stations in the whole South Africa. In Gauteng, 11 of them, they are within that top 30. And Dobsonville is number one. Pramfisher is the contributing area that is making our numbers to be very high. So we'll also be opening there another green door. We'll also be opening another green door in Everton. You'll recall that the police station is now further in Beverly Hills, away from closer to where people can access it. In Ekurhuleni, at Petfontein, and also in Kangala, in your Bronkhorstspruit, in your Refile. So we are going into far-flung areas now in making sure that we provide this service, and women are able to access some of the, or let me say, victims or survivors are able to access these services. So you are right, we don't just wake up in the morning. It's as per how we look at the stats, and when we engage the communities to say in Pramfisher your numbers are high, in Kangala your numbers are high, in Kagiso your numbers are high, how else can we assist each other? If we notice that, of course, the police station is a bit far, that is when we come in. So under the policing precinct of Kagiso, it will be Rifale and Manziville. Remember in Manziville, they bent down their police station during the unrest. So they no longer have a service point. So that's those areas where we actually assist. In total, this financial year, 96 of these green doors will be opening here in Gauteng. To date, we've got 103 of them. So this 96 will actually add up in making sure that more of these services are available in our communities.
And just maybe lastly, MEC, when you look, you're speaking about stats. In terms of women following or victims following up these processes from beginning to end, we spoke to one of your brigaders saying it's a journey for a lot of these women. There are considerations that, they undergo. There's the emotional, strife that they find, the financial strife, because oftentimes these are breadwinners that they have to report. Are you finding that women are more and more women are not falling through the cracks and are able to follow cases up until the very end where you will find a successful conviction?
Yes, indeed. We do find women who go through those cases. That's why through Ikale Temba, where we say it's a one-stop center, we even demonstrate or take them through how the justice system works and even prepare them. We call it court preparation. Because when they get to court, they may be contradicted, they may be called liars, they may be called all sorts of things. We actually make sure that women are prepared mentally, physically also. Because to travel that journey, is not an easy process. And that is why sometimes others, they go on with the case and decide to withdraw the case. And once they withdraw the case, it becomes very difficult as the criminal justice system to actually able to follow up. I'm sure you've got a good example of one of your colleagues in Bloemfontein who was actually stabbed by her husband. How that guy ended up calling her, please go and withdraw the case. I can't take it anymore in prison. So you find sometimes through such influences, a woman feels also pity for the suspect, or sometimes is being pressured by families to say, go and withdraw the case, but and where are you going to live, and all sorts of things. That's why others, sometimes women, they withdraw these cases. But those that are determined, are ready, and who say enough is enough of being abused by this perpetrator, they go through that case up until the end. And we're here as the department to assist most of them. That is why we say through our response plan, pillar 5 of it is on economic empowerment. So that then that woman, if she's unemployed or she has nowhere to turn to, she's actually skilled and put through and assisted to even get work and be able to take care of herself and sometimes even take care of own children. That way she does not go back to that perpetrator, all because she has no means of survival.
Thank you so much, MEC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Very much. And as you've heard there, Mzinga, that was MEC for Community Safety in Gauteng, Ms. Faith Mazibuko, telling us about the various steps and, the various programs that they have as a department, to help victims of gender-based violence, and also, speaking on issues of how they try to ensure that victims are able to follow through with these cases from the beginning to end, that women do not fall through the cracks. But also mentioning their Dobsonville, saying it's one of the highest, they record the highest cases in terms of GBV cases in the country, saying that it is a place that they're also looking at going into. But also saying that more green doors such as this will be open. They're going into far-flung areas to ensure that they don't leave, people in areas that are not so close to the city. She spoke about Nkangala, she spoke about Refilwe Kagiso, saying that they will also be going to these places to open more green doors. There will be 96 that they will be opening in this financial year. Back to you in studio, Nzing.